It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
Cats Talk Wednesday, live on the BS3 Network. Cats Talk Wednesday on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all that good stuff. We out here streaming for the people. Cats continue the ups and downs. TB, Terry Brown in here, Vinny Hardy. Got our celebrity guest, Craig Bates, coming because he's been a big TV star since he was on with us last. He'll be here in a few minutes too. Man, just the inconsistencies continue. It's just, I don't know. It's March now, and we're still on the same stuff, man. Up, down, inconsistent.
Yeah, like in a game you had to have, you give up a 37-7 run, which, like, what are we doing? We 10th in the SEC. We heading toward playing on Wednesday in the SEC tournament.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't win against Florida on Saturday, we won't win 20 games in the season for the first time since 2008.
Who was coaching then?
That was the last season of Billy Gillispie, right? And look, I understand, I've seen the stuff people put out. Look at all the top wins, top 15 wins he's had. And, there was that stretch, during Cal's heyday where the SEC wasn't very good, right? We weren't playing that many ranked teams in the SEC. Yeah, that's all well and good, but it's not about the losing. It's what is this? You up 30-18, and then it's 50-something to 33.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand it. And it's just, and the only guy that's really putting the work in is the man who ain't eating. It's Mo Diabate. He's the only person that's out here doing it. And look, it's a situation where you've got to have Owe, Aberdeen, and Chandler have to do it, right? All three of them have to bring it every night. It's very similar to the 2016 team where it was basically Tyler Ulis and Jamal Murray, right, had to do it. And came tournament time, Jamal Murray was human. And that's how we lost to Indiana that game, right? Without an inside presence. So I understand that. But I don't know. Like, I just don't know about this team. I've said this before. I will say it again. I'm just tired of the commentators like, well, if Kentucky get it to 10. Like, and they made pushes last night, right? I think at one point got to 11, something like that. And then, so I don't know, people going to feel how they want to feel.
Always.
But this ain't it, man.
And I mean, if you got Kobe and Shaq, maybe you don't call timeout, stand over like Phil Jackson, when you had Mike and Scotty, and I will let them figure it out. You a Lakers fan, you saw Phil watch storms and teams hit him with runs, and he sit over there stoically and just see what would happen. Well, we aren't in the position to just stand over there like Phil Jackson and see if we get the momentum back. The crowd got into it. They started hitting threes. I think Mark Story had a tweet. Dominguez hadn't had a three in who knows how long, and he had 4 in the first half or something like that, something off the wall, crazy. He was hot, and And we talked back in November, December with Anthony Epps. Please, for the love of God, guard the three. It's March, and we still giving up clean looks at three.
And that's the thing is, Kentucky fans, they think it's a mystical property that the teams go off against us from three, like you said, guy that hasn't hit all years, all of a sudden putting up 4 or 5. At some point, it's the damn defense. Like, what did we hear going into the Michigan State game? They were like they last whatever. But if you're giving people wide open catch and shoot, maybe it's the defense you playing. Maybe you stop trailing off them screens. So I don't know. This was always my big fear. You and I talked about this forever ago. When Cal was at his peak and it was good, there was nothing else to talk about. Like, who do we want replacing Cal, right? That was always the offseason. Who was going to replace him? And for whatever reason, Kentucky fans just assume you can put anybody in the chair and things will be fine. That's not the case.
It's that Jerry Jones thinking after Jimmy left.
Yeah. Well,
Sam
they did get
Dave Campo. Anybody can coach this team.
Well, it didn't help that your boy did win it, not really coaching, which is one of my favorite. I love when the Cowboys talk about that. Barry Switzer.
We did it our way, baby. We did it our way. We did it our way.
Even Troy Aikman's like, what? Nobody listened to what he had to say. Like, I love that you had a head coach nobody was listening to.
Yeah, that's true.
And so there's that. And I've said, like, Pope is not going to be that bad. You look at Matt Doherty at UNC, National Coach of the Year in 2001, and then 2002 and 2003, they almost lose 40 games total. Like, it's never going to be that bad. But he's going to win some games, right? Like, we've beaten Tennessee, and they're ranked, beaten St. John's this year, and all the wins last year. But there's an awful lot of games where it's like completely outclassed, right? Like, I think people, you have to look at the games, because again, yes, Cal dropped to Evansville and some of those games, right? But few and far between have there been games where it's like, do they have 6 people out there? Like, we have these stretches going back to North Carolina, right? 11 minutes without a point or whatever it was, or without a field goal. Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
We can't get anything together. On Round of Shots a few weeks ago. But Kerry Lewis has been saying this forever, and I like to quote her, "I just hope there's no hard feelings, because I don't think it's going to get where we all want it to be. Because this year notwithstanding, right? There's a good chance they lose to Florida. Yeah. I'm not betting on them to win a game in the SEC tournament. Do you feel comfortable with them being a 6 or 7 seed in the NCAA tournament? I don't. And where's the momentum? That's been my thing, is what can you point to say, okay, right? I see where this is going. Because I've been talking about year 3, but there was progress. Joby Hall, year 1, had SEC Player of the Year, Kevin Greavy, right, and had a deep tournament run, as it was back in those days. Patino, year 2, could have won the SEC had they not been on probation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it 100. Like, they won the games.
Nope.
And then year 3, we get, Christian Laettner, year 4, Final Four. But we saw progress. This is a regression. Like, this is a big time. And what can you point to? Because at the very least, with the Brandon Knight team in 2011, one, they got to a Final Four. And I think a lot of discussion about that team was you have to like people are like, well, Cal, they had the 9 losses. I've gone over that. Like they had 9 losses. They went to a Final Four. If this team gets to a Final Four, we have a different discussion.
Yeah,
but
all this way. Yep.
Right. But we went to Elite 8, Final Four, and we had that alien from Chicago with the one brow coming.
Yeah.
Where's the joy coming from now? Where's the optimism?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Besides hope, what do you like? Besides you hope and think, what concrete thing can you point to? Be like, all right, we can build on this. Because when you look again, I've talked about year 3, but year 2, you got hope from a lot of those places, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you didn't, Billy G, he's gone, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if we get beat on Saturday, that's going to be the first regular season since 2008 that Kentucky did not win 20 games in the regular season. And the last time that happened, the coach didn't return.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope there's no hard feelings. And I think there's going to be, because, I don't want to speak. It feels like some of those older players didn't like Cal for whatever reason. And now that Pope's there, the former players are there in droves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the feeling is give him some time. But it's just, I don't feel like it's going to work.
Yeah.
So I just hope there's no hard feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and anytime the conversation goes this way, always hoping I'm wrong. I said last year I thought Kentucky was going to go 5-7 in football. I was hoping I was wrong, and they went 5-7. I hope we're wrong about this. Hope everything starts to fall into place and get some commits lined up and get some of these in-game things fixed. But yeah, until then,
but it's March.
Mm-hmm.
It's March, and you giving up a 27-7 run or 37-7 run, and talking about how we lost focus in March,
and the fatigue too. We keep talking about fatigue, but at the same time, correct me if I'm wrong, he talks about fatigue, and you got 9 guys. Yeah, there's not guys playing, but we see teams play with tighter rotations. On the one hand, his fatigue was a challenge, but on the other hand, he's a big proponent of playing more games. He wants more games in the regular season. How if you fatigue is a challenge, but you want your team that you keep saying is fatigued to have more games to play.
I don't know.
Add up either. I don't know.
Look, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at that because, again, I'm not seeing anything that is gonna make me okay. Oh, hello, Mr. Ben.
Big boss man Ben.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just not seeing anything that makes me think that it's going to magically get better.
Yeah.
And it stinks, right? It just, we're in that no man's land of, and I made this, like, I don't want to disparage because I think Oweh has been solid. 20 points a game in the SEC. Puts him up there with some of the all-time greats, right? Him and Oscar, what they've done in 2 years, fantastic. That being said, and I think I'm going back to what I said at the beginning of the season. It felt like we were and I like you're wearing that jersey, we were the Atlanta Hawks early in LeBron's tenure, right? With Al Horford and all that kind of stuff. They were just a bunch of really good players that I think 1 or 2 years, number 1 seed.
Yeah.
60 games, 50 right? But then they'd meet LeBron in the playoffs, and it was like, oh, okay, this is why you need a dude. Oh, okay. You did all that to do. Oh, okay. And I was concerned that we had a very good roster, but like, how many times this year have we had the best player on the court?
No.
And I'm not getting caught up in, the NBA guys, but like the best player on the court. Not a lot.
Yo.
Because even with the Jody Meeks season, I felt like a lot of times we did have the best player on the court.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't always translate to what, but that's been Kentucky's thing is we show up, our best dude's better than your best dude.
And yeah, we don't even have that. And his philosophy recruiting wise doesn't lend you to think that's where he wants to live. I don't know. And then he got away from what he normally does last year. And so now he's overthink it? Do you go back to what you do? Do you try to do what you did last year again? You try to blend it again? It's so
This is why this is not a learn on the job.
Now we've seen it a lot. It happens a lot when administrations change, and who knows how this will go, but new ADs want to have their guy. We don't know who the new AD is, but we just had the retirement of Mitch Barnhart, who stepping away after 24 years. Let's say hypothetically they go and just bring somebody from outside. No ties, Kentucky, no connection. We hear our guy, friend of the show, Dwayne Peavy's name thrown back around. That was it. 3 or 4 years ago, he was almost a lock. When he left, it was like he was a lock. He'll be back when Mitch leaves. Maybe he still will. Say they bring somebody that not from the Mitch Barnhart AD tree and just somebody else. These people want their own people. And, Jerry Jones came in and Tom Landry had to go. A new AD coming in and moving Mark Pope out the way. I mean, is that... Ooh.
It's got to be in the cards because if you're the AD at Kentucky, right, that's the barometer. And that's the thing about Mitch is like everybody else, there's good and there's bad. And the first 15 years or so was awesome. Was awesome. I mean, it's hard to not drive down Alumni Drive there in Lexington, and you see, right, the Bell Complex for soccer. You see Crop Stadium for softball. You see Kentucky Proud Park. You see the renovations to Commonwealth and then Kroger Field. Rupp Arena's been renovated. Historical Memorial Coliseum is a thing. So that's fantastic. There has been some success. But then you take a step back and, this is a tough 25-year period for Kentucky basketball. And I say that with the 4 Final Fours, but you'd have to really work to find another 25-year period with just one championship.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you looked at like from 58 to 70. Yeah. But that's going
to 83.
Yeah.
84. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. But that's been the bellwether, and it felt like for whatever reason he didn't get along with Cal, right? And that relationship got fractured, and I think that fed into the program not doing what we wanted. And then you don't want your AD to be all up in the videos all the time. But by the same token, I thought that there were times where he needed to step up and take control of stuff. I look back to Cal's, it's a basketball school, and then Stoops is thumping his chest. Now, man, like you the AD, both of them people need to come talk to me right this second. We're not doing this. And just the swimming thing.
Yeah.
And what just broke on Monday,
cross country
thing. And look, people can go look at stuff. It's the best, most generous relaying of those two stories is a coach was too friendly with a male coach was too friendly with female players, and at the very least made them uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And UK investigated, waited until the contract ran out, and it was like, well, all right, the coach isn't here anymore. No, I need more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And that falls on Mitch.
Oh.
So a lot of really good things, right? Helping get volleyball where volleyball is, right? Because there was a stretch, right? Up until 2020, you got all these Final Fours on the men's side. Women's basketball had that Elite Eight in 14 or 15,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
The women's track program, national runners up. Some of the most famous alums, Sidney McLaughlin-Roan, have come through. And then the wheels have just fallen off into disrepair. Like, just, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Football, drop off. Basketball, drop off. Like, again, he's done some good, but the last 4 or 5 years have just not been great. That's my 2 cents on that. But to your point, I do believe the next AD going to want to bring on his own guy.
Yeah.
I think personally, they need somebody from the outside.
Yo.
That's my 2 cents. Is you need somebody coming here fresh to again, I don't know the ins and outs of NIL, but you need somebody forward thinking on that.
Because what Mitch was from the outside when he got brought in, right? He was at Oregon and all this because
right.
But Sam Newton had ties, played for Rupp and connections and all that. But yeah, Mitch was nobody knew him coming in 2002. Yeah, so
right. And going from in the mid 70s in the Directors Cup standings to perennially in the top 20, getting that number 9 ranking way back when, that's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't have you can't have more misses than hits is the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. Especially with this basketball hire looking like how it's looking right this moment. Yeah. You can't have Billy G and this current, you can't have those two on your record.
Yeah. That's
even though former President Lee Tye came out and said Billy Gillispie was his call.
Wow. Like and so many media members, like old timers, Dick Gabriel, been covering Kentucky since him and Jack Gibbons had a class. He covered the 78 squad our whole life, like for real. And he was like, I've never heard this. So I mean, that was Mitch handcuffed? Was he not? This is the timing of this interview.
Yeah, look, I don't try to be a conspiracy person, but it's like it feels like that would have been a slam dunk for somebody to be like, yeah, the president made that call. Like, I don't know, man. Like it feels, I don't want to call him a liar, right? I want to be, but what? We could have had a 2-year head start on this. We could have had Derrick Rose and Tyreek Evans and then John Wall.
Yeah.
We could have had that.
Yeah.
Instead of the University of Jody Meeks. So yeah, it's complicated, but it's I think Justin Rowland was like, what do you give Mitch's tenure? I'm like, man, it feel like a C. He was at an A, and then at midterms, and then just everything is. here's my thing too. Is this is one of those corporate words. There's no synergy with an athletic department.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is everybody's got to be on the same page, whether you're the football coach, the hockey coach, everybody got to be about the same kind of thing. And so, again, I'm in Iowa, so I see this a lot. Like the uniforms all basically look the same. The fonts
Mhm.
are the same. Everything is the same. Every team at Iowa's got black uniforms, white uniforms, gold uniforms. This is what we do. This is what we're about. And it feels at Kentucky, there's everybody kind of doing their own thing,
Mm.
which I try to tip my hat to. I know people hate the checkerboard, but I understood it, right? Like I understood, okay, you want this branding across everything. I got it, but was checkerboard, kind of a miss, right?
Mhm.
But when I talk about the font is all the same, the numbers on the football field are the same font as the numbers on the jersey. It just looks different. It all looks good. We need somebody to do that.
Mm.
You don't need to have coaches fighting. Again, I go back to that because that's dumb.
It is.
Because we've had other coaches come on and talk about, yeah, I'm recruiting for soccer for this, but everybody want to see the basketball trophies,
Yeah.
right? Like at
Mhm.
Iowa, everybody wants to go to Carver Hawkeye because on the floor where Caitlin hit that shot to break the scoring record, they got a 22 on the floor, and recruits for everything go over there and they shoot from that spot,
Mm.
right? You got to do something where everybody's on the same page, and I just don't think that that's the case in
Yeah.
Lexington.
Mhm.
That's my 2 cents, but I don't know. We can't keep losing like we losing.
Yeah.
Like it just looks bad, man.
Mhm.
The joy is gone, right? Like I
Yeah.
talk about, like why do we do sports? You get something out of it. I'm not getting anything out of watching these games. I'm doing that out of obligation.
Mhm.
Because the wife like, what time Kentucky play? I don't even know. What
Yeah.
channel is it? Let me look it up real quick. Because
Mhm.
I used to have it all locked down.
Yeah, it's
But
tedious right now.
yeah, it doesn't feel fun.
Mhm.
Because at least, not to go back to the other guy, at least you'd be like, well, Reed Shepherd might do something. He might go for 30, right?
Yeah.
We might get that moment like was that Mississippi State? Mississippi, where you're like, all right, I got this. We got that
Yeah.
from Reed and Rob. Or,
Mhm.
we had that stretch. Oscar might get 20 and 20, right? Like there
Mhm.
was stuff along the way. Okay, we all want to win a championship every year. But what can we get that's not that? It's watching Malik Monk put in 47. It's watching De'Aaron Fox go for 39.
Yeah.
But there's been no joy like that.
Let's see if it can be turned around. It's a lot of stuff's got to be fixed, and we'll see. The hiring process is, it's going to be a journey in itself, and we'll see where that leads them. And who's the next one? Will they just kind of play it safe and go with a Mitch Disciple? They got a couple that's under them. Was it they keep hearing Mark Hill and Rachel Baker that are high up in the department already, or like we mentioned, Dwayne Peavy that's still been gone a while, but still from that same 24 years of Mitch. We'll
Yeah.
see, man.
He's got what 6 or 7 ADs that worked under him at Kentucky. Like that's
Yeah.
his coaching tree is fantastic.
That's
But
Strickland at Florida, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few others, but I just 24 years is a long time to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just I just think he was there too long.
Yeah, that's it. Well, we got to flip gears real quick. We got our guest in here, friend of the show, family of the show, and now he's a big celebrity, big television star. Told us about his appearance on Discovery Channel's Filthy Fortunes. Last time he was on, and then Sunday before last, the episode aired, and so we got to have him back to talk about it. Our guy, Craig Bates, Tennessee Hockey Hall of Famer, a hockey guy, always dropping knowledge, but we got to talk about this television experience. So, Craig, man, what's going on, man? Welcome back.
Hold on. My venti is not warm enough. Thank you very much.
You didn't think he was going to go Hollywood, but here he is.
Well, that's what I told Jenny I need to borrow some of her scarves. And if you've ever seen Airplane, I always wanted to do the Robert Stack thing. So there we go. I got to take this off. It's freaking hot. Anyway. Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, this is the normal me right there. There we go. All right. How's it going, gentlemen? How are y'all?
Great. Thanks for coming on. Always good to have you on.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to be here. And before anybody asks, and trust me, two things. One, Jenny and I got a golden retriever puppy about a month and a half ago. So if you hear barking in the background, that's him because he's ticked off that dad isn't paying attention to him. Two, I've had so many people ask me, is it real? So I'm going to share it with you guys. Yes, the tattoo is real.
The Matt Paxton tattoo. So, I mean, that's spoiler alert if y'all hadn't seen the episode.
Well, it's too late now. It's been 2 weeks. It's been time. So
that is your reminder to not make impulse buys or not let the memorabilia just
absolutely.
And that's your
and kind of as I alluded to the last time we were talking, and God love Jenny. She just went in there to tell his name's Argon the science dog, because I work for a company now that does things for laboratory equipment. So me, I had to turn it into a hey, let's make this a marketing moment. So Jenny just walked by to take him outside and went, it's Craig. Which will come back in a minute. But yeah, we actually have a website for our dog called argonthesciencedog.com for the company I'm working with. But I kind of alluded to it last time. So the whole backstory is, the guys that had reached out to us, that Jenny was the one that was kind of the impetus to doing it. And they didn't know that I had a store, and I was happy to keep it that way. The producers knew, but we didn't want it to be a store. So they came out, and let me just say this: the entire crew, everybody on it, Matt Paxton, everybody else, the most kind, nice people I've ever met. Well, besides you guys, have ever met. Just the sweetest people ever. And it was funny because we were talking to them, and they shot for 3 days, and so a lot of it didn't make the regular show. And Jenny alludes that to me always making jokes because that's me. There wasn't a lot about my brother Burke, but there was a lot of stuff in there that kind of made it to the made it to the proverbial cutting floor. But they had come out the week before they shot the show, and Jenny watched Matt Paxton on Hoarders. She knew exactly who he was a big fan. And literally, when they said they were going to show up for a scout, we were like, okay, it'll be the producers, it'll be fine. Well, the whole crew showed up. So I was literally in the kitchen and saw the vehicles putting up, and I was like, Jenny? Everybody's here, including Matt. And they were like, she was going, really? And I was like, well, let me do something with my hair. I'm like, I think it'll be okay, honey. It'll be fine. And so they all came in. And so this was shot in early September. So this will tell you enough about me. But, after they left, the producers were like, oh, we love you guys. We'll be back next week. And we had a text chain. And I said, hey, I got an idea. And that was, the tattoo. And they were, and I told them that, and they were like, are you serious? And Jenny just jumped in. You have no idea with Craig. If he says he's going to do something, he's going to do something. So if you say it's okay, just know that he will do it. So, they said, we got to check with the network. Network said it was fine. I found a guy in Clinton, Tennessee. I went and met with him on Tuesday, and he was like, it's a place, Matt Garabont, place called Heartland Tattoo. Nice, great people in Clinton. And I told him, here's what we're going to do. And he goes, dude, I'm booked up through October. Here's what we're going to do. And he goes, be here Friday night. So I was there Friday night. They got it done. And literally that part when they saw the tattoo for the first time, that was literally the whole time the crew, not the crew, but the host saw it live. So that goes back to my William Howard Taft. Thank you, Vinny, for sharing that with both of you. Because I was like, dear God Almighty, if I was on a beach, somebody would throw a harpoon at me or try and throw me back in the water. But, Jane and I both have lost a bunch of weight. So, it was great. I will just put it this way. The dollar amounts that they mention on TV make good TV. We're just going to leave it at that. Not going to say anything else. But yeah, not even, but we just played along. The one little insider secret, if you guys watched it, of course, the young lady that wanted the Tony Hawk skateboard, she was a part of the cleanup crew. Just going to put it at that. It's TV. We all know how TV works. So, but yeah, I mean, the last few weeks having that on, having the USA Hockey stuff, getting into the trade deadline from hockey, and if that's me and my smooth segues, but yeah, that's what's going on. And I was watching the show earlier. Mitch Barnhart, he's done a lot for Kentucky. I don't know who they're going to bring in. Hopefully, it'll keep things going because the SEC, college football, college basketball, college baseball are better when Kentucky's good. So hopefully they bring someone in. Hopefully it won't be Lane Kiffin style drama. We'll see what happens. Yeah, he's interesting. I'm not going to say who they might bring in, Patino, but anyway, we'll just see what happens from there.
I got to go back to the show though. I agree with everything you said about Barnhart, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. But Filthy Fortunes is like per se. Your house wasn't filthy, like from the hoarder cat lady standpoint.
No,
it was more like cluttered fortunes or just
right. And it was also one
store, that we can't. Where do we put it if we can't put it at the store?
Jenny and I sort of staged things to make it look much worse than it actually was. Jenny's in the other room going, because she might disagree with that, but we kind of set things up, and it was all the stuff from the store and all the stuff that I had collected. And yeah, that's me looking like William Howard Taft. Thank you. Jenny looks great. Me looks like I'm going to have a heat stroke with how much weight I was carrying, but that's neither here nor there. But absolutely, it was one where we had just kind of put a bunch of things out. But yeah, we had way too much stuff here. And it was great for us to be able to meet these guys. Like I said, everybody was really nice. The one gentleman didn't get to talk much on the actual episode. The African American gentleman with the dreadlocks, he absolutely loved it because he was like, I'm used to going into places have guns and stuff I don't care about. He was in heaven. So that to me is the best part about it, because we were able to share a little bit about my dad, and you guys know I was talking about my dad and my brother, and so that's the big thing for me is the house is clean. We've done a good job of maintaining it that way, and the other big thing was like I said, Matt Paxton was just the nicest guy. He sent us his message, his phone numbers. He'll send us messages on, right before the show. He'll send us messages. He sent us messages at Christmas and at holidays telling that he was going to think about us. And he and his wife have said, because they live in Atlanta, Jenny and I extended an offer to him and the whole crew. Anytime you want to come to East Tennessee, you're welcome. And, Matt has said that him and his wife might come up this summer. So, if you guys want to do a road show from Oak Ridge, I'm just saying the offer is open because you guys are always welcome here as well.
I appreciate it, man. I got to get back down there. I was, matter of fact, speaking of, it was spur of the moment. I didn't even have time. I was down for a funeral this past weekend, so it wasn't, but
It wasn't joyous occasion. I get it.
We were down and just popped into the wife and I popped into Zool and a Mexican restaurant beside of it, and then just popped back home. But was right there, right in your town. But a lady I know my whole life. She was from Harlan, Kentucky, and she had moved down this way to Knoxville. And she passed away, so we were down there.
I'm so sorry about your loss, Ben. And Terry, you saw what Jenny said as well. We are both, as all of us are glad you're still with us. I just need to see more shots of you wearing too tight Kentucky jerseys. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that you should have an OnlyFans of just Terry wearing too tight shorts and Kentucky jerseys, but I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying there's a whole niche market there.
If you remember, it was a year ago that I ordered all those soccer jerseys, Vinny. If you remember, wired up with 13 of them because I misread. I thought it was 2013, but it was actually 13 total. And I was like, "What in the world am I doing?" So I did think about you when I did that, Craig, because I had them all laid out, and my wife was like, "No."
Yes, yeah. That's the thing about our wonderful wives is that they'll just be like, "Oh," and that was the funny part with the tattoo thing, because Jenny was like, "You guys don't know Craig. If he says he's going to do something, he's the king of ready, fire, aim. So yeah, he'll do it." And that's pretty much what I did. And like I said, I've had friends of mine reach out to me, and I told you guys, I'm like, yeah, it's real. And one of my hockey buddies was like, I need to just punch you in the face for getting that on your arm. I'm like, it made great TV. In honor of the late Jesse Jackson, which is one of my favorite Saturday Night Live skits ever when he was hosting the game show. The point is moot. He had a great SNL one where every question was like a game show with him, and people would would try to answer questions like Jeopardy, and be like, the point is moot. Reaganomics has done this and done that. The point is moot. So my mom and I still say, if she says something that I'm like, what are you talking about? She'll be like, Craig, the point is moot. So it's one of those things that you guys know, everything stays in my brain. So, that's the way it is. But good Lord, I'm looking at it. This is a lot of gray here. I'm getting old. I'm just saying, still playing hockey, but getting towards the geriatric hockey age. But that's okay too.
Speaking of hockey, like in Olympic years, when they have the break, are you I know you're a big NHL fan. Are you a big Olympic hockey fan where you're watching that game in and game out and keeping up with that as well? Or are you like, man, I can't wait till this is over so we can get back to the NHL season?
A little bit of both. As being a Rangers fan, they could do the Olympics for the rest of the year as far as I'm concerned, because that's like watching a tire fire or a dumpster fire. But I watched a lot of the Olympic games, and when it came time, I watched the quarterfinals, I watched the semis, and I watched the finals. And Jenny's been a hockey fan before I knew her. She was a big when she grew up living in Miami. She liked the Florida Panthers, and Ed Jovanovski, which is another great hockey nickname. They called him the Jovo Cop because he would just hit everybody. She when she was like 14, she took a sign that said, basically, "You're the best, Jovo," and it got on TV down there. So with Josie and with Luke and with Nathan formerly playing hockey as well, always been hockey people. But she and I watched the entire gold medal game, and she jumped as high as I did when Hughes scored the goal to win the cup or win the gold. But we also watched the women's hockey, and so I think that to me, hockey is hockey. I'm fine with. I think it's a great thing that that they had the NHL guys in the Olympics. I think if Russia got their crap together and knocked stuff off, not to be political, but it would have been nice to have Ovechkin and a bunch of the other Russian guys, as part of the Russian Federation. But coming out of it, it's a great thing. And it kind of takes me back. And TB and I had a conversation, on text with it as well. The NHL and hockey in general has this magnificent, stupid ability to screw up positivity. And I'll go back to 94. If you guys remember in 94, the Rangers won the cup, which, to me, it's all I have as a Rangers fan. But there was a very famous SI cover story about, is the NHL better than the NBA? And it was all the buildup from the Rangers winning the cup, all the people in New York, all this other stuff. And what does the NHL do? They have a lockout in 95, knocks it all down. You have the women win the gold medal. You have the men win the gold medal against Canada for the first time in forever. And what do? It's, Cash, whatever his name, Patel with his, I'm not going to say what I would normally say, but him in the locker room, the guys in the locker room being idiots and, eventually apologizing after the fact for, the stupid comments that were made on their phone call. And it's like every time the hockey tries to move itself forward, it's the proverbial shoot yourself in the foot. And, I've been one where I've been, with you guys, with everybody, I've been preaching how great hockey is to watch in person, how great, if you know the backstory about hockey. But it's like, I don't want to say it's Gary Bettman. I don't want to say what it is, but you're dealing with, for the majority, and not as much as anymore, but Canadian farm boys is what what the NHL started with, and a lot of the American players and a lot of the guys in Europe, this is all they've been doing since they were 8 years old, and expect them to have a intelligent worldview is kind of like watching me play hoops. It's the thought, but it's just it's painful to watch. I know my limitations, and that's who I am. The funny story I was telling about my dad and my brother is, growing up we played what was called Bates basketball, because my dad, in our house growing up, we had a hoop outside, and Bates basketball was if you're going to the hole, my dad's going to punch you in the face, and there's no fouls. And so, my friends would come over that played non-Bates basketball, and they'd be like yelling foul, and my dad would be like, no. And, he would knock guys down in the asphalt driveway. And, my dad was like 5'6", so he made up for it by being feisty. I don't know where I got it from or Bert got it from, but, that's how we played it. So, yeah, I know my limitations when it comes to basketball. I appreciate the athleticism. I appreciate what can be done. Could I ever do it? No.
Was your dad a good hockey player?
No, he was a baseball guy. He was a baseball and football guy. So, he would take us out in a pond, and he played hockey kind of like he played basketball, where it was just, hey, I knocked you down. Here, let me help you pick up your teeth. All right, we're going to keep skating now. So, I always wonder why I was the guy that always led in assist and penalty minutes. I think we all know why that was the case. And, I've told you the story before, but Burke, my brother, was a goalie because I needed somebody to shoot at. So Burke was 8 years younger than I was. And, back in the early 90s, he'd come to school with all these bruises and everything else, and nobody thought to, call DHS. They were like, are you okay? Yeah, my brother shot pucks at me and hit me in the places where I didn't have pads, which is why after Burt became a state trooper, I would always apologize, especially when he was armed, for all the stuff that I did when we were kids together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We had the Kentucky hockey coach, and his son, Clay Pergram, is the assistant. His father, Tim, is the head coach.
Yep.
And we had Clay on multiple times, kind of like we have you on. But the other day was the first time we had Pops on, had Tim on. Yeah. And same thing. Clay was good at skating. Tim couldn't skate. My kid's good at it, so I'll start taking my kid to the rink, and then he just kind of learned the game from the mental standpoint and all that. But as far as skating and actually playing, my kid is good, and that's what got me into hockey, because they're from like Eastern Kentucky,
right? And there's a lot of people, East Tennessee and a lot of the non-traditional markets that, I've helped learn to skate because their kids have been playing hockey since they were little because they always want to play hockey and they have no idea how to do it.
Yeah.
And so I've helped run programs here in Knoxville where it's, teaching adults how to play. And, the problem with me doing it, here's the right way and the wrong way. And I base it on the 1970s version of the right way and the wrong way. And I will tell them you can break those rules, but understand that somebody will get angry with you. But that's the part for me. Josie and Luke are much better hockey players than I ever was. I was a goon. I would go and start stuff. I think I've told you guys the story that I played a season of pro roller hockey back in the late 90s when roller hockey was a thing. And my whole job would be the coach would tell me, go out there and make that guy mad. So I would throw a dip in, spit it in the palm of my glove and wash it in their face. And that usually started some ruckus. So, that was the old story with Josie and Luke was be like, we could skate past you. And I would always say, you got to stop sometimes. And when you stop, the hammer's coming. Not that I would ever do that, but that's the part. And so Kentucky's had I think we've talked about this before. Kentucky's had a great hockey program. There were the reason I became coach for UT's hockey team in '99 was there was let's just put it this epic brawl between Kentucky's hockey team and UT's hockey team in '98. Burke was on that team. And the problem was that somebody had been recording it and showed it on public access TV in Knoxville. And it was like the old time hockey, as they say, 1970s, sticks, punches, people being thrown everywhere, a Kentucky player jumping into the Tennessee bench and getting, the snot beat out of him, which is a funny sidebar because Burke was on that team. And about 8 or 9 years later, there's a guy I've been playing hockey with for 5 or 6 years. And I was telling that story and he goes, yeah, that was me playing for Kentucky. I was like, you're an idiot. What were you thinking? He goes, yeah, I was young and stupid and got my nose broken. So, in hindsight, I can't breathe right when it gets cold. So yeah, not a good idea. But, how college hockey in the South has grown, how things have grown from, like I said, my days when I was coaching and would have to activate myself and tell people I was getting a doctorate in molecular anthropology. And they were like, that sounds hard. I'm like, yeah, it's tough because nobody ever checked. Now it's become, a lot more structured. Every SEC team has a hockey program. Most of the SEC teams have women's hockey programs, and it's great to grow the sport. But again, from a national level, it's always going to be fourth, if not. Well, I think it's gotten with baseball now, where baseball and hockey are pretty tied, but soccer, NASCAR's fallen off the edge a little bit, but we're not going to go into that. But I think it's, hockey could have built on, and we're not even going to talk about, and I've had people ask me, have you watched that show on HBO? I'm like, no. I'm happy that there's a show on HBO about hockey. People have no idea what it is. And I'm going, hey, if it grows hockey, that's great. If you saw SNL this last weekend, it's good. It's good for growing fans. I think most of the people in the NHL, if they've ever actually watched it, probably have their eyes start twitching. But, hey, we should all just be kind to each other. And me as a hockey guy, I'm like, it's great. I've known guys that, that enjoy the show. It's great, man. It's like this. I want hockey to be like all the other sports where it's completely inclusionary. I was glad to see the young lady playing for the USA women's hockey team. That was an African-American player. She did great. And I think that's the key is making hockey for everyone. It is a cost prohibitive sport. I get that. But you can go out and play in the driveway. You can go out and do stuff. And if you build interest in it, then I fully expect in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years that young lady on the USA women's hockey team and on the men's hockey team, they're not going to be the outliers. They're going to be the normal. And that's what I think is the most important for hockey.
Sounds good, man.
We do field hockey in my neck of the woods. That's what
Oh
the
yeah.
field hockey and lacrosse. My youngest does the field hockey, and she plays field hockey like it's ice hockey. Like it's
That's why I love whenever you send that to me, because that's why I always say, PB, you tell her, Craig can show her how some of the moves, and there's ways to throw elbows that they won't see, and and people, I've guys I play with, it was like, "Are you a dirty player?" And I'm like, yes, I was. I would do whatever. I think I don't know, and stop me if I'm wrong. Have I ever told you the Gordie Howe story? I don't know if I've ever told you this. It's one of my favorite stories. So a good buddy of mine, everybody knows Gordie Howe. So a good buddy of mine, when he was about 12, played in Gordie Howe's hockey camp. He would do hockey camps for kids. It's one of my favorite stories. So Gordie Howe came out there, and he had if you know hockey sticks, there's the curved end, the butt end. He came out there skated on the ice with a puck on the butt end of his stick, and came out there and was talking to the kids. And my friend was a part of that camp, and he goes, "Gordie Howe said, kids, I'm going to give you 2 lessons today. Lesson number 1, learn how to stick handle." So this is about 1975, 76. And he goes, "We're going to skate around for 5 minutes. If you can take the puck off of my stick, off the butt end, I will give you $100. All the kids were excited. So for 5 minutes, Gordie Howe skate handled around him, stick handled around him. None of the kids could get the puck off his stick. 5 minutes go long, blow the whistle. They all come to the bench, and Gordie Howe says, "Rule number 1, learn how to stick handle. Rule number 2," and he picked up his stick. He had nailed the puck to the bottom of his stick and said, "Do whatever it takes to win."
absolutely.
And that's everybody has those kind of stories from guys they play with. You do whatever you can to win, and do it within the rules. And if there's edges of the rules, that's fine. That's where I lived. But absolutely, I mean, that's a part of it. And you both know there's an open invitation whenever you're ready to start ice skating, play hockey. You got it. You've got a sensei for you ready to go.
Ooh, man, I don't know how bad I am trying to roller skate. I can't imagine the ice skating. I'm just
Just don't think about the fact that you're on 1 inch wide razor sharp blades. I mean, it's all good. It's fine. It's all good. So.
How painful is it on the ankles for the first time? How?
It depends on how tight you have it. It's not that bad on the ankles. You will lose. That's what I've told people all the time, because I've helped friends of mine who never played before skate. I'm like, you're going to use muscles that you didn't know that you had. It's not the ankles as much as it's just, parts of the thighs, parts of the calves, and everything else. But the good part is you will never know how good shoes feel until you've got done ice skating. When you put those feet into some, comfortable shoes, you're like, "I'm sorry, shoes. I should have appreciated you earlier."
Well,
so tell me what other questions from the TV side you guys have, boys.
So the crew all knew about everybody but Matt was in on the tattoo. Is that where you're
saying? Everybody but Matt and his 3 guys that were with him were in on it. And so that's why the reaction was such. And if you saw it, he signed my arm. But that was all genuine reactions, because they had no idea. If you heard Matt say, "I don't know what this is," and the sidebar to that is the big guy that had the dreads and the other African American gentleman that were that was doing the cleanup. They came up to me, Jenny and I, afterwards, and said, "We always knew there would be some a-hole that would get a tattoo of Matt, but we didn't realize it was you, Craig. We like you." And I'm like, "Thanks." And that's what Jenny just looked at them and said, "Just remember, with Craig, here's the line. Here's Craig. He'll, I'll do whatever I thought it would make great TV, and it did. And so, it was, like I said, it was hysterical, because we found stuff, kind of going back to the stuff that didn't make it to the show. My dad had brokered a deal between the Russian, this is early 90s between the Russian Navy, the Egyptian Navy, and the U.S. Navy to sell a sub to the Egyptians. The Russians would sell a sub to the Egyptians. The U.S. would create housing for retired and elderly Russian soldiers or naval personnel, and would use the steel from a sub to create these barracks, and at the same time close down one of the things. So we found a briefcase that had pictures of my dad with all these Russian admirals. We had letters from Greenpeace approving it. We had letters, that were in from the Russian consulate. So my dad had gotten kind of the civilian order of Lenin for brokering this deal. So, we found a lot of stuff here that we kind of knew about. We knew about it, but we found it for TV, which was great. And like I said, it was really neat. And Matt was just kind of blown away, as were the other guys, with just the amount of stuff. Matt had put something up on his Instagram page. I had a signed Chevy Chase Lakers jersey with Fletch 99 on it.
Oh my God.
And one of the crew bought it because they were like, I can't let this go. So, there was just, that was my favorite part. Matt was a big Washington Redskins / Commanders fan. So when he saw, a Brian Mitchell signed jersey, when he saw, an old Doug Williams thing, when he saw an old Art Monk jersey, I mean, this was all the stuff, that was my favorite part, is guys seeing stuff from their childhoods that were just, I haven't thought about this in a while. And I did get several comments. You have Jeff George jerseys from 3 different teams. Why is that? And I'm like, I don't know. I had a Redskins, a Colts, and a Raiders Jeff George jersey. I think I saw Jeff George working at a Hardee's drive-in at one time, but we're just gonna let that go. But he's the old $1 million arm, 5-cent head kind of guy. So, but yeah, I mean, it was just all the. I think they were overwhelmed by just the amount of things that they hadn't thought about in forever, teams that hadn't thought about in forever, and I think I've told you guys, I'm the stuff that didn't sell. We sent some of it to an auction in Cincinnati, but I'm also, with Jenny's blessing, have my old eBay store up and running. So I have an old Kentucky football jersey on the eBay store. And how old it is, it has the hand marked cuts from when the guys used to cut across the front for their, to show off their toned stomachs. I actually have that on my eBay store right now with the old SEC logo. DB, I'm not saying this should be in your collection, but it might go with the super tight, looking buff stuff. I'm just saying.
I'm good for that, right?
Yeah, it's like I told Jenny. It was like after I saw myself, I wanted to pull out the old Rodney Dangerfield line about I want to donate my body to science fiction. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just there's still a few things that. That didn't sell, but like I said, it was a great experience. They were all super nice guys. Everyone was really appreciative of me and Jenny, and the scary part with them asking me questions and me knowing exactly where I got everything or exactly what it was. There may have been 2 or 3 Rain Man comments. I'm fine with that. But yeah, it's the way my brain works. I remember everything.
That's awesome, though, man. And we appreciate you telling us in advance so we can be on the lookout for it.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
yeah. Be able to watch it.
And yeah, it was like I said. I looked at myself and all the stuff with the greenery in the background that was in our backyard, and that was the funniest part because Matt had told me he took pictures. He had everybody take pictures of it, him with it, and everything else. He couldn't tell his wife till the show aired. That's what was killing him. Was he goes, I can't share this with my wife and family until the show airs. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, he had texted me as soon as the show aired, going, "The pressure's off. My family just saw it. I showed him the pictures. I told him it was real. I can breathe again." And I'm like, it's been like 4 months, man. I wouldn't have told anybody if you'd have done that. So
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I found this one from way back, which you got to get back down there again. But the time that me and the boys did pop into the store, I
Oh
still
yeah.
found that one, man. So,
Oh, and then there's
yeah.
one I saw the other day was when you guys came down to the hockey, the Swagger Christmas Classic, which
Yeah,
that was on my Facebook memories not that long ago. But
yeah,
yeah,
came and watched you play. But they're
pour
both
out a
tall. They're both taller than I am now. So it's been some
yeah,
years since we
yeah.
were down there.
That's frightening.
But
Luke's taller than I am. Josie's taller than Jenny. So life moves on, but we still stay the same as far as I'm concerned. So
yeah, but we have to get down and watch you play again. And I don't know, maybe I'll put a skate on. I don't
oh
know, but
hey, the open offer, TB. If you ever get up in these parts, we're going skating. Bring the missus, bring the girls if they're around. Vinny, bring the kids. We'll have just a whole hive of people doing some skate lessons and just enjoying it because, like I said, once you skate once, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's in your blood, but you kind of get it of how hard it is to kind of keep up there. But your ankles will be fine. It'll be good. And TB, Jenny asked me to share with you, when you guys get a new pup, I know it's going to be a while, but she wants to see pictures, and she said that's her honorary god baby whenever you get it. So,
Yeah,
because we miss Sammy too, but
yeah. That dog was a jerk, man. But
that's what they
but,
are. Hey, look
but
at my
we
arms. I
miss it.
mean, you talk about the puppy. I look like, I have to tell people Jenny hasn't been slicing me up because, Argon, the science dog puppy, he's kind of evil because he's got those puppy teeth. And I feel like I'm in one of those old, what is it, medieval bloodletting things. Because every time I take him out, I'm getting some blood let out of me. So it's better than leeches, I suppose. But, so.
Well, y'all have fun with all that. And
Yeah,
Yeah. I smell the sincerity thing. Yeah, you have fun with that. But yeah, NHL trade lines, this deadline is this Friday. It'll be interesting. Interesting to see what is it later this week, early next week with the NFL free agency. Everybody's going somewhere else.
yes,
Dwan Jennings, former Vol, probably leaving the Niners. Who knows where all these guys are going to come up? So
yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
It will, and I'll see if I can scrape together like $10 or $12 for NIL money to see if I can sponsor somebody. I don't know,
there you go.
I don't know if it's worth, but hey, if you're in Mississippi, there's no taxes on it apparently now, so that might pay for one thing of hair gel for Lane Kiffin. We don't know.
That's right.
But,
yes. Every little bit helps, Craig.
Yeah, I mean, everybody chips in. It's all good.
That's right. Well, man, we enjoyed it. I always enjoy having you. Congratulations on the show, and tell
appreciate
Jenny
it, my friends.
too, man.
And tell all the families that we love them and miss seeing you guys in person. And Jenny is in the bedroom and just screamed, "I too." So I have to say that. So you all know that you're family to Jenny and I. If you're ever in these parts, come see us in Oak Ridge. And I promise if you don't stay more than like 72 hours, you won't get a glowing tan. So that's good.
Sounds good, man.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Craig. We appreciate it.
I love you guys. Be careful. Take care of the families. You guys are family. We love you guys so much, and be safe.
We'll do, man.
You too.
Thank you, Craig.
Love you guys.
Love you, man. Craig Bates, TV star now, man. Big celebrity, Discovery Channel, Filthy Fortunes. There him and Jenny are right there, just bam on my TV. So I thought, man, look at there. So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. He mentioned the NFL. There's a certain little quarterback in Arizona that you won't get to see twice a year anymore. According to reports, the Cardinals are moving on from Kyler Murray.
It's the Cardinals, man. Like at least they could say they were the worst team in probably the best division the NFL's ever had. 3 13-win teams in the Cardinals. We watched the NFL Combine because we didn't watch the whole thing. Sunday, we watched the offensive linemen. because there were 3 Iowa guys. Have you seen Jennings Dunker?
The red mullets.
The red mullet, right? Just and if you haven't seen it, I'll have to send this clip. Somebody put Leonard Skinner's Free Bird to him running in slow motion, and it is gorgeous. It is flowing. It is, and so watching the combine and what the offensive linemen have to do, and it's like, yeah, he's got that mullet, but he's also pretty good, right? When you start looking around the league, that Tristan Wirfs, the Tyler Lindenbaum, and they rattled off like 3 or 4 other like big time offensive linemen that played at Iowa. Like that's what they do. I understand people again look down their nose at Iowa, but yeah, they've got Remington Award winners and Outland Trophy winners and the Joe Moore Offensive Line of the Year winners. Like it ain't glamorous, right? Are they going to have a Heisman Trophy quarterback? Probably not. Heisman Trophy running back? No. Heisman Trophy wide receiver? No. But the grit to get it done jobs, they're going to get that, right? Yeah, and so we did watch the offensive line drills and everything like that. So,
and on the Iowa, of course, with that tradition for sure, but even Jagger Burton went up there and put on a good showing for Kentucky. I think he
Seth like McGowan did
7th of all time for centers, and a 4.9 4.40 for a center. You mentioned Seth showed out in his vertical. Gusto dropped like 37 reps on the bench, so there was some talent on this team. It didn't manifest itself in the record, but these guys are
putting dudes in the league, right? That's part of it. Like I understand people don't care about the NBA, but that's what you need to have to be good. Like if you want to go to bowl games, you have to have NFL dudes.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Final Fours on the women's side and the men's side, you have to have NBA players and WNBA players. As good as Caitlin Clark was, Iowa because Kate Martin, who's in the W, like you have to have at least 2 to get to a Final Four on the women's side and on the men's side as well. So you got to have that talent.
The women got Arkansas today, and they beat Arkansas like they should have. They beat them by 20 in Fayetteville. They get them on neutral court today and beat them by 30.
Yeah.
And Amelia Hassett and Asia Boone have both passed Ryan Howard for all-time 3-pointers made in the season. Ryan Howard had 84. They're both currently tied with 86, and kind of got a little back and forth going on amongst themselves as to who's going to be the record holder.
And friend of the show, Claire Strack is she cold, man.
Yeah.
The door is wide open. I watch women's basketball, mostly a lot of Iowa games, right? I think on the women's side, of course, you got UConn undefeated. Of course, there's UCLA with 1 loss. South Carolina, but as we saw, South Carolina is beatable. So if Kentucky can win a couple more games and host, I really like our chances of getting to the Sweet 16. I really, really like. I like that a lot because I was on that fast track to the 2nd seed in the Big Ten. They'll be opposite of UCLA, and they right back. Like they replaced a coach and a generational talent, and they right back. But
it can be done. It can be done.
And the thing is, I understand Caitlin Clark, blah, 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 blah. Like, but Iowa's had 6 of the last 10 Big Ten Women's Players of the Year. It's not just her. They had Megan Gustafson, and they had, of course, Caitlin. But in between, there's a young lady by the name of Kathleen Doyle, who was 22 before Caitlin Clark. Like, you always wonder, like, who was the Cowboys 22 before Emmitt Smith? Like, there's always the person that was there before that. Like,
Bullet Bob Hayes, I think, maybe.
Right.
Those reasons my dad started liking the Cowboys in the first place.
who was Chicago 23 before Jordan, right? You just wonder who was that.
Yeah.
But she was Big Ten Player of the Year.
Hmm.
And so, but like 6 out of 10 years, Iowa basketball, like, again, Caitlin, of course, took Iowa to ridiculous levels. But
Mhm.
the reason she said, oh, I can do this here, there was proof of concept.
Mm.
Like there,
Mhm.
it's one of those things like, oh, I don't need to go. I can still do this in my own backyard, which
Yeah.
helped a tremendous
Yeah.
amount. All you need is that proof
Mhm.
of concept to get stuff done.
Yo. Now this, you definitely gonna know. Is it legit? Is it just nothing? But this whole Luca and Riddick don't like each other. That this little clip. What's up with your Lakers? Is this anything or not?
Always about the drama, right? Like that's one thing. If we're not gonna win it, there's gonna be a lot of drama. That's just because it's LA, it's Showtime. Like I don't like Luca's get down, and what I mean by that is he does a lot of complaining.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like the trade was still dumb. Like I'm not letting Nico off the hook, but all the stuff Nico said, kind of true.
Ooh.
Like he does do a lot of belly aching, and for whatever the great things he does offensively, you got to do something on defense. and so people don't think the Lakers are gonna, even though we're what, 4th or 5th, like we right there in the standings, but nobody's taking them serious because they don't play defense.
Mhm.
And my thing is, it's a wrap. Y'all talk about LeBron not playing defense. Man, 45 years old. We can't depend on. You're right. We can't depend on him for defense.
No.
That's my only thing with the gotcha things about LeBron. Like, aha, see who's right, man. Do you go back when that dude was Rookie of the Year? And now it's like, aha, see, I told you. That's one of my favorite tweets. Like LeBron, whatever it was, like year 15. Luckily, we won't have this much longer of LeBron,
Yeah.
right? Like, and he's still doing it. Like he's still,
Mhm.
but it's not the same. Like you go back and watch those Miami LeBron highlights.
Yeah.
Miami LeBron
Mhm.
might be the best basketball player I've ever seen.
Ooh.
From an athletic standpoint, like that's when it clicked. That's just me. I'm not trying to get into that stupid debate, but it's just that dude was on a different level.
Yeah.
But the fact he's still doing it at 45, I know he's not 45, but whatever,
Mhm.
still doing it at this
Higher
age.
at a higher level than anybody over 40 ever has.
Yeah, and
To this point.
And that's the thing is, I see a lot of people, the longevity kind of, it backfires. Like a lot of people just think you get these numbers just because you've done something for so long. Well, one, how do you stat pad at age 40? Break that down to me. And yes, I'm a Jerry Rice fan, so I see a lot of this stuff. Oh, he was just stat padding. And I want to say, my brother and sister, how do you stat pad in the NFL? Like, how do you do that as a receiver? Because I watched the clips of his Raider days. He's still running away from people.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw that dude that broke down Jerry's 40-yard dash, 4.7. It was like, oh, if Jerry Rice played today, granted, yes, I'm a Jerry Rice fan. Like, that's my dude. Don't get your calculator out and talk about greatness. Like, don't do that. That's my thing. He looks slow. You know who said he wasn't slow? Deion Sanders, Darryl Green.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like,
anyway,
not, I could do a whole show just talking about how great Jerry Rice is, but whatever. I'm back. I got myself a little worked up on the Jerry stuff.
But no, Luca's led to the Jerry.
But Luca, man, it ain't gonna work in LA. Like the whiny baby kind of like that is not gonna work. Because that's not what LA is.
Yo. Yeah, it's just so. I mean, JJ gonna go first. Luka gonna go first.
Oh, the coach always has to go. Like
It's so-
the coach gonna have to go. I don't. Did you see me get into it with that David Dennis of ESPN?
nuh-uh.
Oh, it's been a couple of weeks now. So what happened? He tweeted out talking about how teams, the tanking and how they build for the future, and he sent out a tweet that said the Lakers had the number 2 pick in 2015, 16, and 17, and what happened? And I'm like, they traded those dudes for Anthony Davis and won a championship. And then he said, well, that's only one championship for LeBron. I said, now you're moving the goalpost. Your original question was, what did they get out of those drafts? And I'm telling you, they won a championship. Like, full stop. If you get a championship, and again, you're not an Eagles fan. I'm not an Eagles fan. But all the drama we talk about with the Eagles, they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's hard to be like, Hurts is terrible. Sirianni is terrible. Like, they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over Patrick Mahomes. So they must have done something right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can talk about all this extra, but they won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
That's the frustrating thing is over the last 25 years, is the Niners and the Eagles. They've been to 8 NFC championship games. We've been to 7. I think the Super Bowls are the same, if I'm not mistaken. 3 and 3, maybe. Anyway, but they've won. They won 2. We can't win none.
Yeah, that's
hurts my feelings to think about. But yeah, man. Watching the NFL Combine, which is always bizarre.
Yeah.
Watching these dudes run, like, because my wife, she's at the worst thing of running the 40-yard dash is when they zoom in on your face. and like, man, and them big boys, like, woo, it ain't graceful.
No.
Like, because she's like, they make them squat. That's the funny thing, is watching them get down in the stands to run. And some of them, you like, man, no. Like, all right, man. Like, why y'all have, like, when have we ever seen a lineman got to do a 40-yard dash on the field?
Right,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, but they make them do all those weird drills and everything like that. The worst job, I don't know if you saw any of those blocking drills where they got to move and they got to do their arms like this. They got to extend them. And there's a guy that has to hold the pad. And those are big, like, I got to do what?
The strike, man. That's
no. Because I forgot who it was. Some dude, 6'9", 325, boom. And, he tried to play it off because he did like this. His hat went askew. And he's like, yeah, I'm good. Somebody like, I'm good. Well, I'm like, you going to cry in the car?
That's right.
Like, hell no. Hit me like that. Yeah. No. Because it reminded me of the time they had the open practice in Kentucky for Fan Day, right? We get to cover media. I'm down there. I'm not paying attention to where I'm going. AJ Rose almost run me over. Like, I'm watching over here and I'm like, oh, snap. He's like, then he, excuse me, sir. I'm like, I ain't that old to be a sir up in here. But my reaction time was never good. Let me be clear. But like, oh, man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, talking to my wife too. Like, I just don't think most people have a concept of what 6'5", 300 pounds looks like.
And it can move too.
Right. That's the other thing, is I don't think they understand how big that is and how fast those guys can move.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I see people, I can run a 540. No, you can't. No, you can't just run. No, you can't. No, stop. But for somebody 350 pounds to run like a 5'2", that's scary. That is scary. So again, you see this periodically come out. Do you think you could get a hit off a major league pitcher? Do you think you get a yard on a football field? No. Hell no. No. No.
Yeah.
I was on the sideline for Kentucky Louisville football. I guess this was 2018. Josh Allen, Benny Snell game. When Josh Allen was looking for the Kentucky flag to let him know, right? I'm standing there talking as I always do. Josh Allen bumped into me walking. I was like, oh, okay. Like, and then I'm like, that was just him bumping into you. That ain't him running after you. Oh, hell no, man. Like, no, man. Like, hell no. No.
Yeah.
No. Like, no. People try to laugh at all those quarterbacks, back there. He's scared. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you remember this NFL Films thing. I think this guy's name was Neil Lomax. He was a quarterback for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
There's the clip, the Cardinals, for whatever reason, always in the East until recently, they play in the Giants. And he's looking for Lawrence Taylor. Like he's not doing it. He's like, and he actually says, like, where's LT? Like, they're like, oh, you got to no, every play, where's Lawrence Taylor?
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm trying to survive out here.
Yes. I know my guys can't block him, so he's gonna be here as soon as I snap the ball.
Yeah. Well, you threw that ball away. I did. Yes, I did. Absolutely. I ain't gonna try to be a hero.
Yeah.
And I'm peeing blood for the next 2 weeks. I'm trying to be a hero with LT. Whatever, man.
And great athletes like Charles Barkley, quote unquote, small by NBA standards, listed as 6'6", but 6'4" and 2, whatever he was. Went out on the football field and got hit once and was like, nah. And this Charles Barkley, who we see how physical he was in the league for all those years, but playing tight end or whatever, he did not want any parts of football. He's like, you can't get hit like that, Ernie. I don't like, He didn't want.
My favorite thing, and I need to send some of these to you because my algorithm is people telling stories about great athletes. And what I mean by that is, I can't remember the guy. He played for the Patriots? But he's talking to, I think it's Julian Edelman, maybe. He's got a podcast. And they're talking about Randy Moss. And he's like, look, we're going through our plays in practice. He's like, Randy Moss famously didn't like practice, right? But we run this play, and this cornerback like breaks up the pass or whatever and starts jawing to Randy Moss. And Randy Moss is like, we running it again. Like, no, Brady is like, no, we like run it again. With his, y'all run it again, So the guy knows what's coming. And he takes 2 steps, gets chest to chest, like hits him with his chest, and then catches the ball. Like, there you go. I love these plays where it's like, I'm a good athlete, but let me tell you how great that dude was. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Reggie White, some offensive lineman doing some drill, talking smack to him, and was being a little extra with this. And Reggie's like, yeah, knock that off. The guy said, oh, we all football players out here. And he said, okay. They line up again. We've seen Reggie with that up and under, put 350, like, did it to him.
My guy, Larry Allen, got that hump move.
Got the hump move, knocks this guy, like, and is like, something like, next time I'll make you meet Jesus. Like, I love that kind of story because it's like, these are top tier athletes, but then there's a separation. I love that, man. I love
there's
that.
There's a clip, there's a YouTube clip, and Chris Carter's like, they had me trying to block him one time, and he just threw Chris like a little gnat.
Like a kid.
And Chris ain't little. I mean,
right.
he ain't. He looked like just a little rubber. Get out of here,
man. Trent Williams did that to somebody on that Eagles championship game where they start fighting at the end, and he just picked this dude up like you would do a kid and like tucked him like this. And I said to Kate, I looked it up. I was like, that man he just picked up is 6'5", 240, and he just picked him up like nothing. But I love that kind of stuff. Real quick before I let you go to D'Angelo Hall, member of the 4240. He has a great Randy Moss story. He's like, I heard about Randy's speed and the hand going up. He's like, but I'm fast too. He said, so I'm gonna press him a little bit. He was like, step 1, he's closing the distance. Step 2, we even. Step 3, the hands up. He said, and now I got to turn and chase. And they're showing the clip as he's talking. Like, D'Angelo Hall was not slow.
Yeah.
But Randy's like, put that hand up. He's like 3 steps. He's put his hand up. He's like, I couldn't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Whew. We had fun.
Yeah, always fun, man.
Ain't nobody do that with our men's basketball team. So that's just
we'll see how
on
goes,
that note.
Yeah, it was like, look, I'm gonna watch, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm not rooting for them to lose. I'm just in that indifferent kind of
yeah, that's where they put us.
Yeah, it is what it. Like I said, it's never going to be terrible, but it can't be this. That's all I'm saying. Like, it can't be this. And heading into year 3.
Yeah, boy. Pressure.
Yes, sir.
Always fun. Appreciate you, TB.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
Craig Bates. We'll be back next week. Appreciate Ben Sutter to the BS3 Network. Let us do this each and every week. We'll go ahead and call it an evening. Go Cats, because we always root for them. The women play again tomorrow. They got Georgia at 11 a.m., 10 your time, because they won today. It's March. Postseason starts. And conference tournaments everywhere. Madness everywhere. It's that time. And
I don't look, man. This is my old man little quick rant of the day. I can't figure out all these conferences with 15, 16 teams. I'm looking at the bracket. It ain't a bracket. It's like these 2 and triple, quadruple buys. It's confusing. Take it back to the old school, man, because I don't know what's going on. Like, what is this?
Yeah, it's they all doing too much. So we're gonna hop on over here though. But appreciate everybody that watched now and will watch or listen later. All the platforms where you check stuff out. Just follow, like, rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'd appreciate it. And we'll hop on over here. Go Cats. See y'all next week.